Hi there, my name is Abigail Morrison, and this is my presentation over culturally responsive instruction and behavior support system. First off, let's start the day with, what are we talking about? What is our focus today? And that would be culturally responsive instruction. And that the definition of that is using students' cultural experiences in daily instruction, embracing native language and student families as assets, creating a classroom environment that represents and respects all students, communicating clear, high expectations for everyone, and then instruction that emphasizes a comfortable and academically enriching environment for students of all ethnicity, races, beliefs, and creeds. And then we move on and we talk about what behavior support system is. Behavior support system. The definition that I found was enhancement of positive school climates for all students and the reduction of exclusionary disciplinary practices. So we've talked about what it is. Now let's look at what our district is doing to currently. Currently, culturally responsive and behavior support practices in place. Small group learning centers in both reading and math. Capturing kids' heart, this is a district-wide, building those relationships with the students, the families, the teachers within, building that culture, and then data collection to help determine the students' needs. Currently, we are using FastBridge Learning. That is our benchmarking 3 times a year, and that is also our weekly progress monitoring reports to see if those students are making progress or if we need to pull and do more one-on-one intervention. And then school-wide behavior recognition system. We are a positive behavior. We do the ticket system, which would be if a student is caught being good, they receive a tally. After 5 to 10 tallies, depends on the grade level, that student would receive a ticket, they would write their name, and they would be entered into a drawing. And then school expectation stations, these are hung around the building. They are by the office, they are by the bathrooms, they are in the hallways, they are in the gym, the lunchroom. These are what is expected of the student when they are in that part of the school. We do small group lessons over these at the beginning, middle, and then at the end of the year as well, just as a refresher, really hitting those hard times during the school years. And then relationship building, that's year round. Go Noodle, those brain breaks that give those kids a break before they move on to the next subject. And then we have opportunities to respond. And then morning announcements, allowing each kid to build that oral communication, their confidence in talking in front of people. That's just a few of the things that I think we currently do. Now let's move on to who is responsible for doing these things. Who is responsible for seeing these kids? Administration, our family engagement coordinator, our family support worker, teachers, secretary. I believe that our secretary plays a big role. She is the first face most of those students see when they walk into the door. She sees every single kid and really gets to know every single family. Our building leadership team, our support staff, our teachers' assistants, and our paras, those people pull those kids out one-on-one. They're mixed in all day long with those children. And then our school psychologist, and then our student support team. So after talking about what it is we're doing, who is responsible, let's talk about the level of impact. Our faculty members, our teachers. Teachers will form a better understanding of their students in their class and in the school as a whole. And this will allow teachers to identify any students that have fallen behind or need that extra support from members of staff, such as family support workers. There's nothing wrong with getting other people involved with your kids. If you have the school counselor or family support worker, and you see those kids are struggling, reach out. Let's teach them how to build confidence and figure out how to learn those individual coping methods and really benefit themselves. And then the students will build a trusting and stronger relationship with staff members. Students' confidence will grow as a result of having a sense of purpose within the school. And students overall will evolve when they feel like they're being cared for and when they feel like they're being seen. So we've talked about the level of impact. Now, who is not involved? Staff that should be involved, I feel like, our in-school suspension coordinator. This is that person that sits with those kids that are already struggling. How can that person benefit them rather than just sitting in a room, sitting quietly watching them? And then our custodians, our librarians, our instructional coaches, and then also another person that you don't think about is our food service. They see every single kid within that school every single day. And so these people, I feel like, play a big role in a school, and they could really benefit even more. So then we talk about our methods, our cultural responsive methods to use. And then, so the 10 methods that I chose was build routines for the brain, establish questions for inquiry, and student-centered classrooms, create a classroom culture that is welcoming to all learners, pronounce names correctly, which can be a difficult task occasionally, start from within, connect your culture to theirs so they feel safe within the classroom and the school. Communicate goals with students, youth programs. I know that there are lots of churches that help with the schools, get those kids involved. It doesn't have to be church, but rec classes, anything that you can get those kids into. Communicate with families regularly. There are lots of platforms you can use. Communication is huge. And then tap into the student culture. And then students are able to complete tasks in multiple forms. So those are some methods to use. Now let's look at behavior support methods. Here we have self-management, performance feedback. Feedback will always be important. Actionable feedback is even better. Coaching, modeling, teachers receive the appropriate training. It is important that if you expect us teachers to do something, give us that training that will help us buy into what you're wanting us to do. So we can really perform to the highest level that you're expecting. Validate other cultures and increase cultural relevance. Use of interventions, strengthen parent involvement through school-wide expectations. We have those expectations for our students. Let's set those expectations for our parents as well. Hold them accountable for their children's learning, their children's actions. How can we help the parents as long and as help the students? Opportunities to respond, and then behavioral expectations. And then who benefits from this? To me, who benefits from cultural responsive instruction and behavior support practices? Truthfully, I believe all students benefit from this, and I also believe that all teachers benefit from this. So in reality, everyone does, but some of the major kids that could are minority students, those students with disabilities. I know within my school, we currently have vision impaired, hearing impaired. We have physically disabled students with walkers. How can we really help them? And then our English language learners, our students with behavior issues. I know right now we have the system where if a student is escalating, we ask them before we even start talking to them, like, where are you at right now? And we have our little scale of 1 to 5, 5 being I cannot talk right now, I'm so mad, 1 being okay, I'm ready to talk. And then those poverty facing students that already come from a hard home, how can we help them and how can we make them feel safe within our classroom, our school, and within our presence? And then methods and practices to implement now. Let's look at this. To me, I feel like educators look into their culture backgrounds and then look into their students. Let's take the initiative, look at us first. Who are we, and answer that question first, and then answer that with our students. And then increase social emotional interventions, really teach those kids, okay, how can I cope with this by myself? If I can't do it, how can I ask for help? And then allow opportunities to respond. I feel like that's a big one. And then set goals with your students and work together on achieving them. I am a huge goals person. Set those goals. Then as a team, work together to achieve them. Make all the students feel as if they are playing an important role in your classroom every single day. And then after the conclusion of this, here are my references. Then one more. Thank you very much for listening. If you have any questions, please let me know.